the sweetest little baby. Brady, say hi. Oh, he's so cute. Hello, friends. So, this year has been a lot. This video I thought would be the perfect, coming back to YouTube video at the end of the most awful year of all of our lives, at least for me. Just to talk about music that came out this year and music that I listened to this year or I got into this year or whatever. And also talk about our Spotify Unwrapped playlists, maybe a little bit. But yeah, I thought this would be a really good video to make right before Christmas, right around Christmas time, right before the new year. And just talk about music that I listened to this year, really liked, or just got into, of all genres. I'm gonna be looking down at my laptop. I will be linking my Spotify 2020 Unwrapped playlist below if you're interested. I will make notes about songs that probably weren't on there, like Miss Taylor Swift's Evermore. My Unwrapped came out before that album. So I'm telling you, I've probably listened to that album more than anything else on this playlist, but I'll link it below anyway. So let me just turn my brightness down so this doesn't get all wonky. So this year, as we know, it's just been a really that kind of year. And I got into a lot of new music. I got into music that by artists that I used to listen to and maybe just can't kind of faded out of. Some good albums came out this year, but there are a few off the top of my head, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 that I definitely want to talk about just because I listened to them so much this year and I feel they made my year better. And you know, I'm just going to start off with the elephant in the room. I'm going to start off with the albums that, if you know me, you know these albums saved 2020. And those albums are Folklore and Evermore by Taylor Swift. So Folklore, as we know, if you don't know, was a surprise album released by Taylor, I think on July 24th. I was shook. I was very shook. And Evermore, same thing. Surprise album, came out like the day before her birthday, I think December 12th. She announced it the morning of. She did the same thing with Folklore. I was shook. That was ruthless, Taylor. That was ruthless. I lost sleep. If anyone knows me, and I can make a video about Taylor Swift, she just means so much to me. She's been my favorite artist for so long, and anytime she lifts a finger or breathes, I stop breathing. A little bit. I would say Folklore and Evermore were definitely my favorite albums of 2020. And even though Evermore just came out less than 2 weeks ago, I kind of think I like it better than Folklore. But just to give you an idea of some of my favorites and what I associated those albums with at the time of their release, Folklore came out in the summer, and this past summer, not to be TMI, but I noticed in July my mental health started to get really bad. And I live in a very popular summer town. I live on the Jersey Shore area. So I was attributing it to that. I was like, when everything calms down in the fall, I'll feel better, because I love the fall. Fall's my favorite season. And that didn't happen. So basically when I started feeling like I was slipping into this depression that I'm unfortunately still in right now, help. That album was a big lifesaver for me. It gave me very cozy, woodsy vibes because it was so cozy and woodsy. I said it was my favorite Taylor album as soon as it came out. I don't know if it is. It's definitely one of them. And yeah, and same thing with Evermore. I was not expecting it. I've been going through a lot of things the last few months, mental health wise and just life wise. And these albums just were like lights in the dark for me. So definitely my albums of the year. I think I like Evermore better, but that's right now. And just a comment I want to make about these albums is, and I don't mean this in any way to put down Taylor's old work, because I think everything she's ever put out is amazing in its own way. And I love her for that. That's why I'm such a fan. I think everything she puts out is consistent and really good. I would say ever since she went pop, I would say ever since Red, I've been kind of waiting for her to really use her songwriting skills and just I know she was capable of making something better and amazing and insane. And that doesn't mean that Lover and 1989 and Reputation weren't amazing or insane, because I did love those albums so much and they're so special to me. But I really, really knew she was capable of more, especially after Red. And I was nervous we were never gonna get that more. And I feel like the Swifties are gonna come for me. They're gonna be like, oh my God, you're putting down like 1989 album of the year. No, like I love those albums for their own reasons, for how they are special in their own ways. When Folklore came out, and even more so with Evermore, I just felt like that thing I was waiting for finally happened. I just know she had this way with her lyrics to make it very poetic and storytelling and vivid, and I feel like why I love Red and Speak Now so much is there's so many lyrics in those albums that just like chill you to the bone. Like they're so intense, and because I know she's capable of that, I've just been waiting and for her to really just shake us up. And I feel like she did that with Folklore and Evermore, and I think it says a lot about her talent, because she, in just her most recent interview with Apple Music, was saying how these were kind of her most like random albums. Like she wasn't super picky with them like she usually is. It was just kind of like, let's do it, let's take this risk. And for that to be her most like raw, unaltered type of music, granted she's been working with amazing people like Aaron Dessner of The National, and she's always worked with Jack Innoff, but that said a lot. And I'm really into this woodland fairy Taylor Swift, and I really hope she continues. And because I'm a Swiftie, yes, I'm in on the trilogy theory, and I hope it's real. I hope it's real, because I'm not ready to leave the woods, Taylor. I'm not ready to leave the woods. I never want to leave the woods. These albums are amazing. I don't know if you can see in the background, but I literally have my signed Folklore CD with like crystals around it to just protect it from any bad energy. So that's enough about Taylor, because I could make a whole video about that, and if you want it, I will. I'll do track by track. But my favorites on Folklore are definitely 7, Illicit Affairs, August, My Tears Ricochet. I would say my top 2 are 7 and My Tears Ricochet. Who's outside? As for Evermore, I'm really stuck. I can't decide my favorite, but I'm kind of between Cowboy Like Me, Ivy, and Coney Island, and Tolerate It. Those 4 are like top God tier. Like the writing in Tolerate It in that last verse, gain the weight of you, then lose it. Believe me, I could do it. Taylor, I know what you're capable of, and it kills me. So moving on, Cardigan by Taylor Swift was my #1 most listened to song of 2020 on my Spotify Wrapped, and I think it said I listened to that song like a few hundred times in one day. I was trying to break her records. I was streaming her. Don't judge. I was streaming her on repeat. I'm gonna move on to the next artist that was really prominent this year for me. I've always kind of dabbled in his music, but I never really dove in until this year. And that artist is Seawolf. And I found out about Seawolf through the Twilight Saga. He did a song called The Violet Hour on the New Moon soundtrack, and I've always loved that song. And I always dabbled in his music here and there because it had that very whimsical, woodsy sound. But this year, I don't know, I've really been getting into like folk, alternative indie, and I know that's not a lot of what I used to talk about on my channel, but it's probably my favorite genre at the moment, alongside of rock. And so yeah, he had an album come out this year called Through a Dark Wood, and it's one of my favorite albums of this year. I really want to order it on vinyl. Honestly, I might just order it on vinyl tonight and treat myself.
A few moments later.
I just was thinking, like, I really want to buy that Seawolf album on vinyl, right? Please tell me I can get it somewhere. Basically, I worked this little side job, and the woman who I work for was really kind and gave me a $25 Visa gift card that I totally forgot about, and I just got it a few hours ago. So if I can get my hands on this vinyl, I'm gonna use that. So thank you, Linda, for the gift card. I was gonna use it all on coffee. Like, I was gonna designate that gift card to getting my favorite coffee from my favorite place in town. But this is better. So hold on, I'll keep y'all updated if I find it. This is really cool because I did find it available, which I didn't think I would. I found it through, hi Brady, my dog always has to barge in. But I found it on Tower Records. Oh my God. towerrecords.com, and it was weird because it initially brought me to Seawolf's Bandcamp, and I've purchased like CDs and MP3s off Bandcamp, but never like a vinyl, and it was like a name your price. I don't know, it was kind of confusing, so I think I'm gonna buy it off Tower Records. So yeah, I'm really excited. And guess what? I'll still have like $5 left on this, so I can still buy myself a coffee. Merry Christmas. Because it's so good, you guys. If you, I don't know how popular he is, but if you've never heard of Seawolf, please check out his album Through a Dark Wood. His album Song Spells from 2014 is really good too. It's a very like short album. I think it has 10 songs. I'm looking at it right now. That's a really good one too. So if you're interested in checking him out, I definitely recommend. But his most recent album this year got me through this like dark winter. Just sat inside on Halloween and watched all the Twilight movies in one day and dressed up as a vampire for 2 hours just to walk around my house, and then took it all off and drank wine and went to bed. Definitely check out Seawolf. That his music has really just been, I don't know why, it's like a very comforting music to me. So this is kind of a group of artists I'm going to talk about, but back when quarantine first kind of started in March and April, I kind of felt like I needed that. I needed a reason to just have no plans, to just focus on myself and just really give myself time to do things I enjoyed. And so every night I would have a face mask and I would take a bath, and I made this playlist that I will link below because to this day I'm really proud of it. And it's called Chill Ass Bitch. And this playlist, all these songs are like in my top Spotify Unwrapped, because I listened to this playlist like every night during quarantine. It was just so relaxing. And just to name a few artists that were on it, I had a band called Still Corners, who I actually really got into. They had some really, really good songs. One of them called The Trip and The Message by Still Corners. Check those out. I'm gonna link this playlist below called Chill Ass Bitch. And another band I got really, really into this year, and I don't know how I found out about them, but I'm obsessed with them. Like, one of my favorite bands of this year is The War on Drugs. I think they're based out of Philadelphia. Never heard of them until this year. They have some amazing songs. And the songs on this playlist really, for some reason, remind me of driving through the desert. So, just to give you a vibe. I have some Nick Santino on here, some Mandolin Orange. I will link this playlist below, but especially the band Still Corners and The War on Drugs. I listened to them so much this year. So much. Thanks to COVID-19 and my spa nights. Another artist that I got into this year who I was never into, I probably still won't listen to his older stuff, not to be mean, I just don't like rap music, but I'm obsessed with his new album, is Machine Gun Kelly. Tickets to My Downfall, I know, is a huge album this year. So I'm very aware that this is probably very popular, but this album is insane. And I'm a huge, huge fan of Megan Fox. I love her. I'm obsessed with her. Jennifer's Body is one of my favorite movies of all time. I have always really liked her. Like, I always watch her interviews, and I think she's like so cute and so cool because she's always playing like the sexy girl, but like she seems really like shy and timid in real life, and I feel like she has a lot of valuable stories to tell. I don't know. I love Megan Fox. And so when I heard she was like dating Machine Gun Kelly and she was in his music video, I was like, what? Like, I was so shocked because she was married and whatever. Started by listening to Bloody Valentine, freaking song of the year. And I just got into his album, and it's an insane album. And I think we all know this album because it's a pretty big album. But yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I would say my favorites are definitely Bloody Valentine, My Ex's Best Friend, Lonely, Play This When I'm Gone, Jawbreaker. I love it. My pop punk heart is screaming, Machine Gun Kelly, please stick with this genre because it's so good and it suits you so well. Okay, so now I'm gonna jump into my Spotify Unwrapped because those are just the artists off the top of my head that I'm like, yeah, I listened to them a lot this year. Oh, also Amy Winehouse. I had a phase with Amy Winehouse all summer. All I listened to is Amy Winehouse. So we've been new, legend. Just amazing. She's insane. Jumping into my Spotify Unwrapped, those are just some artists that I, off the top of my head, know I spent a lot of time listening to this year, going out of my way to listen to, excited about, all that. So I'm going through my Spotify Unwrapped, and honestly, it's like all the people I named already. But another band I got really into this year, who I've always dabbled in, but they're on my Spotify Unwrapped, so it's worth mentioning, is the band Muse. We all know Muse. They're insane. They're so good. Again, I found out about them years ago through the Twilight soundtrack. Supermassive Black Hole, the baseball scene, iconic. Dove more into them. I took this year to listen to artists that I always kind of had an interest in, and like just finally was like, okay, check out all their music, check out their whole discography. So I did that with Muse. Love them. They're so good. Another artist I definitely listened to a ton this year, as have all of us, Phoebe Bridgers. I love Phoebe Bridgers. I've definitely talked about her on my channel. I think I dabbled a little bit in Clairo this year. I do like Clairo, but I never like really got into all her music. I like a few songs. So, Lady Gaga, Chromatica, period. So good, so good. It came out on my birthday actually, or the day before my birthday. So that was a nice gift. Thanks, Gaga. I love you. I love Miss Gaga so much. I love her so much. Dabbled in Selena Gomez's new album. Some pop fun stuff this year. I did like Selena Gomez's new album, but I will say I don't go back to it as much. But I liked it when it came out. It's saying that that's like all I listened to this year, which isn't true. It said I listened to a lot of the Twilight soundtracks, which makes a lot of sense. If any of you are unaware, there has been a Twilight renaissance this year. I think it started like last year or something, or the 10-year anniversary, but I'm very much so part of the Twilight renaissance. I love Twilight. I have loved Twilight since it came out, since the first movie came out. And after I saw the first movie, I read the books, and ever since I've been like a dormant Twilight stan. I just like don't say anything because it's like my guilty pleasure and people think it's embarrassing, but now I don't care anymore. I love Twilight. Sophie. Team Edward all the way, baby. That's all I'm seeing on my Spotify Wrapped. I'm just gonna go through some other playlists I made this year, name some songs, name some artists that I remember listening to a lot. I always listen to Wolf Alice in the fall. They just have this witchy, creepy vibe. Wolf Alice, definitely on My Love Is Cool album. Very good, very good. We have some Fleetwood Mac. They're always kind of in there. Fleetwood Mac are amazing. We've been new. Really listened to Seawolf a lot. Like they're all in my playlists, so for sure. I listened to a little bit of the Wild Reeds. They're like a little folky band. Oh, I listened to the band, I got into this band called Big Thief. And I don't know how I found out about them. I think they were on like one of my Spotify recommended playlists. And I was really into them, I'd say in September, October. They were giving me these cozy, like warm fall vibes. I did know when I listened to their song Paul, I think it's their most popular song, I recognized it from somewhere. So maybe you'll know that song. Highly recommend Big Thief, especially the album UFOF. I really like that album. Honestly, I would say that's like an overall of what I listened to this year the most. But as of recently, I've been really getting back in my emo phase. I've been constantly listening to Paramore, MCR. I've just been enjoying it a lot. Paramore, as I've probably mentioned, are the first rock band that I got into through Twilight. It's like alternative band I got into that kind of turned me on to all the music I like now and that I talk about on this channel. And they just remind me of a simpler time. Like, I remember listening to Paramore and thinking my life was so hard when I was like freaking 11 or 10 years old. Like, no. But I love Paramore. And they're always just a safe bet. So I've been listening to them a lot lately. I've been listening to MCR, The Pretty Reckless. Honestly, lately I've been mostly listening to Taylor Swift's Evermore. I'm not gonna lie to you, like that's all I've been listening to. I would love to hear what you guys listened to this year. What music got you through? Like I said, it's been a treacherous year, and music helps. Music really helps. So these are the bands and the artists and the albums and the songs that got me through this year. I'd love to hear yours. Maybe share your Spotify Unwrapped with me. I'd love to snoop because I'm nosy. I don't know why my video got cut off. I don't think I'm out of storage, but I just wanted to give you guys a formal goodbye because it's nice of you to stick around and watch this far. So yeah, everything I just said. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will definitely be talking to you guys soon. Bye.